Hi, and welcome to Chapter 2. And for Chapter 2, we're going to talk about the properties of matter. And Section 1 is all about how you can see the properties and the difference between physical and chemical changes in those properties. So we're going to start with the physical properties, and these describe a substance. You can see these properties without changing its identity. It's really anything that you can detect with your senses, which is anything you can see or touch or taste or any of that. So that would include the color and the shape, the size of an object, the texture of an object, its volume, or even its mass. These are the properties of something. These are ways that you can describe something. Okay? Physical properties are things that you can see about something. The density of something is, now you just had a lab in this. This is measuring the amount of matter present in a given volume. So you have a volume of something, you have a certain size, and you have to measure how much stuff is in there. So you can have something that's 3 inches by 3 inches cubed, and if it's lightweight, then it's got a low density, and if it's really heavy, it's got a high density. That means the atoms that are in there are large and they're really close together, okay? We measure density in grams per centimeter cubed because it's the weight per how big it is. And this is usually a number that we can identify something with. So if you know something's density, you go look up on the properties chart of all of your elements, and you say, oh, well, this has a density that's kind of close to that. For example, gold and fool's gold, pyrite. By looking at it, it's really hard to tell the difference because they have a similar color, they have a similar luster, they have a similar feel to them, but the densities are different. So if you found out their volume and then found out their mass and figured out their density, you could figure out which one was the real gold. Now, physical changes. A physical change is a change in the physical properties, and this doesn't change the substance at all. So there's no chemical going on here at all. Now, this is just a physical change, which means you break a rock in half. You take a rubber band and you stretch it, so you change the size. You take something and you change its state, like heating ice into water or heating water into steam. Changing its state. These are physical changes. They don't change the substance at all. Now, this is different than the chemical side of things. Now, when you're looking at chemical properties, then this is how you describe how substances can form new substances. If you make a chemical change, you're actually making a brand new substance. And the atoms that make this substance are rearranged to form the new substance. So it's not that old substance anymore. It's not like a change in state where if you just get it cold, it'll go back to ice. No, you're actually rearranging the atoms, okay? Now, it's interesting because there's always some sign that a chemical change has taken place. And what I need you to do is be able to look for these signs. So these signs include the fact that there's a different smell. It produced an odor that's new. There's some kind of a change in temperature. So you had this lukewarm liquid and you mixed it with this lukewarm liquid and suddenly it's really cold or really hot. That means that an actual chemical change has taken place. Sometimes it could change color. Now, I don't mean you mix the yellow and the blue and you make a green, because that's what it's supposed to do. I'm talking about when you mix a yellow and a blue and you make purple. That's a significant change in color. That means that you're not just physically combining them. You're not just mixing them together. There's a chemical change making place. Sometimes when you put two things together and a chemical change happens, it actually makes bubbles. It forms a gas, and when you do that inside a liquid, it makes bubbles appear. And sometimes when you mix liquids together, it actually starts to form a solid, and the solid is really, really small, little tiny bits of solid, and so it looks like there's a powder in the bottom of your liquid, and that's actually called forming a precipitate. That little powder on the bottom of your jar, that's a precipitate. Okay? Now, when you have a chemical change, there's also some kind of energy change. Every chemical or physical change in state also has an energy change. So you can't change the physical state without an energy change. You know that you can't just go from ice to water without it actually getting warmer. You have to have some kind of an energy change there. So if you're changing state, you have to have an energy change. You can't have a chemical reaction without an energy change either, because it takes energy to break bonds and form bonds. And so as the atoms are rearranging, you've got all kinds of energy exchanges that go on. And in part of this chapter, as we go on, we're going to look at some of those changes more deeply. Okay? So that was it. That was section 1. I hope you had fun, and I will see you next time. Take care.